Juliet Omolo enjoys contemporary dance. She is a member of Changamoto, a public arts fund implemented by Kenya Community Development Foundation and the Go Down Arts Center to help artists reach society. With very few funds supporting artists in Kenya, Juliet says the grant from Kenya Community Development Foundation has made it possible to build artists' skills.
I got a grant to build audience for my dance, and I got a grant also to train new dancers because there are not many new contemporary dancers in Kenya.
Juliet is just one of the many Kenyans who have benefited from grants that Kenya Community Development Foundation has given over the past decade to support creative arts and many other aspects of development in Kenya, from training and capacity building to early childhood learning through to primary and high school education, youth development, HIV/AIDS and food security. The foundation does more than just give grants. It has set up an endowment fund that will be used in future to fund development all over the country.
If you're going to go on in perpetuity just begging and begging and begging, if I come to you the first time and you give me 500 shillings and then I come back second time, third time, the sixth time you're likely to close the door. You'll probably tell your secretary, tell him I'm not in. Because there is fatigue out there. So we tell people, look, if you put your resources together and just keep that as your capital, and the only thing you want to get out of it is just interest.
The unique story of Kenya Community Development Foundation began just over 10 years ago when a group of Kenyans working in the development sector began to discuss their concern about the heavy dependence on funding from outside the country to fund local projects. The group consisted of Elkanah Odembo, Elvina Mutua, the late Harry Mugwanga, Aleke Dondo, Joyce Malombe and Monica Mutuku, and formed the first advisory board of the foundation. Working together, they eventually set up the Kenya Community Development Foundation. It is the first local grant-making foundation with the task of finding and investing local resources for the long-term development of Kenyan communities.
If the work that we do as civil society, as a non-profit sector, is work that is valuable to this society, our society being Kenyan society, why is it that the resources for this sector do not come from within? And then we asked ourselves the question, is it the case that there are no resources to support our work? And the answer very quickly was no. It is not the case that there are no resources. There are many resources, money, people, material resources that this sector needs to make it effective.
Starting with a small staff of 4, KCDF has worked to make local resources available for development projects all over the country.
In trying to mobilize an endowment fund, people always remember some of the bad episodes that have happened to them in efforts of mobilizing resources. So maybe sometimes they've lost money when they had put money together for an Arambi or something like that. So we have to work very hard on issues of accountability and governance to make our work successful. The other one is a mindset issue, just working to make people know actually you can grow money in Kenya as opposed to just permanently writing proposals or looking for money from outside.
Initial support for the setup of KCDF came from many directions. Ford Foundation gave 50 million shillings to start the endowment fund, and KCDF set itself the challenge of matching the amount from local sources. Several groups that benefited from KCDF grants have now created their own endowment funds, which KCDF invests and grows for them. In the sprawling Mathare Valley, the Good Samaritan Children's Home caters for more than 430 children. For more than 15 years, the home has depended on contribution and has run with the help of volunteers from the Mathare Valley community. By setting up an endowment fund with KCDF, Mercy Thuo, the founder and administrator of the home, believes that one day they will be in a position to sustain themselves.
Kenyans are not poor. They have resources, even energy. Only they know how to give. And they need somebody to teach them how to give. If mass is giving the little I have, why not the big people in parliament, people are employed, even those people who are not employed, they are helping me, especially youth group in different churches. So how far I have gone is people in Kenya. We have a lot there because it increase. So I have some money in KCDF which I can take that money and pay school fees for the girls.
With the rapid growth of funds, it became important to ensure that the money being raised is safe and invested well, and in 2002, KCDF created a trust.
Our responsibility in the trust is to ensure that the money is safe and that it yields profits.
In Mwingi, village groups working with Genesis Community Development Assistance have taken the message one notch higher. They started a powerful, impacting local fundraising scheme through which every household would contribute at least a shilling every day for the next 5 years.
We came and called the initial meeting for all the 60 symbios we are working with and told them whether they can start saving 1 shilling per day. We chose 1 shilling because it's little enough to an extent that even the poorest person can afford it.
Yote tukaangalia, government tupatie ndengu, makakosa. Ndona, akakosa, tukafikiria, kwa nini? Sisi tuungane, tuchange pesa.
So far, they have raised more than 500,000 shillings from goat keeping, soap making and other projects.
Yue, ndiye tiandu manza imama tutona. Oandu amakwa, amaitu, imama tutona. Meotu latilia katamu, meotu wete mundu weka, deo nutona. Na wana go, woka kwa andavia. Na nagwe wambekia wa, nundu ndiye na vinya. Na kwa andavia newa. Na ndiye ndane diagwo, kila kukambea.
The money has been handed over to KCDF to invest, and the earnings on the investment will be used to fund development in the area for a long time into the future.